Welcome you all for Taylor series program. So this program is a lab ninth program. So the question goes like this: develop a program to compute sine of x using Taylor series approximation. So here we are going to do a Taylor series approximation for with respect to sine number or sine with respect to degree, and compare your results with built-in library function. Print both the results with appropriate message. So here what my question says is we have to write a program that is in the method of Taylor series in order to find the value with respect to sine. And we have a built-in library function in our mathematical library where if you define sine with respect to x, that is our 60 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree, 90 degree, whatever the degree you specify with respect to sine, automatically the value will be provided by the library function. That is one method. One more method without using library function. So here we are writing a program without using library function, and we are comparing the result with built-in library function result also. So if both the results are same, then my program and then my manual kind of function is okay. So if is there any changes, again we have to cross-check the program. So anyway, built-in library function gives exact answer so that I want to change with my Taylor series approximation procedure. So we'll see how to do this by using our C program. So in order to go in deep with this program, first we have to understand the formula for sin x with respect to Taylor series. So this is a general formula in order to go with Taylor series. So that is sine of x is equal to x minus x to the power of 3 by 3 factorial plus x to the power of 5 by 5 factorial minus x to the power of 7 by 7 factorial plus and so on. So here we have to understand three things with respect to formula. The first thing is, first we have to understand the sign. So first it starts with plus, next it goes with minus, again third it is plus, fourth minus. So like this alternate signs will be used. So this is my first requirement or a first understanding that understood. I mean first I want to understand in order to do this. Second, what I want to understand is with respect to exponential number, that is x to the power of 1 for the first time minus x to the power of 3 for the second time plus x to the power of 5 for the third time, like this. So here the powers are increasing by 2. So it is not incrementing 1, it is incrementing 2. So whatever the power will be there, so same thing will be there in denominator. This is the third thing that we need to understand in the formula. So the three important things that we need to understand is first thing with respect to sign. First it starts with plus, next it goes with minus. So plus, minus, plus and so on. The meaning here is alternate signs have been used. Second thing is exponent number. So it starts with 1, increment by 2, second it goes with 3, again increment it by 2, it goes with 5, again increment it by 2, it goes with 7 and so on. So here the numerator exponential number is incremented 2 for every iteration. So third thing that you need to understand is whatever the number will be there at uh, exponential level, the same number will be my denominator, that with factorial number. So if my x to the x, the exponential number is 3, so 3 factorial will be the denominator for that value. If x to the power of 5 is there, 5 factorial. If x to the power of 7 is there, 7 factorial. If x to the power of 9 is there, 9 factorial and so on. So this is how a general Taylor series formula is there with respect to sine function. So in order to understand it better, for the first value also I have taken as 1 factorial. So in general formula, this 1 factorial will not be there. It is generally like x minus x3 by 3 factorial plus x5 by x5 factorial and so on. So in order to understand it better, I have taken first number along with my denominator number, that is 1 factorial. So 1 factorial is nothing but 1, and whatever the numerator value will be there, the same thing will remain. There will be no change if I do this kind of change with respect to formula. So next, so we'll see the algorithm. We'll see the different steps that we need to take care or we need to carry out in order to get the output with respect to Taylor series approximation. First, algorithm will initialize or start. That is what the first step with respect to algorithm. So again here also initialize or start. After that, I want pi value. So I define my pi value in my header section itself by using a define function, I mean hash define. Next, I'll read degree as input. Anyway, user will start giving input in the form of degree. So once degree is being given as input, so your computer or you have to write a function in such a way that you have to convert the degree into radians. So only with that value we can go through with the formula. So directly we can't take degree into the formula. So we have to convert radians degree to radians. So after converting, set the initial values of numerator, denominator, I. So whatever the prerequisite values are there, that we have to do at initial values, initial level. So next, after doing this, we have to implement formulae with looping condition. We have to impose formula to get the result. Once you're done with that, final step is display the result. So this is a detailed step or a detailed procedure to perform Taylor series approximation. After algorithm, we'll see a flow chart. So whatever I discussed in algorithm, which step by step, the same thing will be replicated here with a pictorial representation of flow. So we all know that it starts with start. Again, I am going to define a value. I'm going to set some value, that is a pi value. Anyway, value is constant. I'm defining this value in my header section itself by using hash define. After that, I'll put a message to a user, enter the degree, so that I want to read the value from the user. So I'm reading a value in the form of degree. After value is been fed, I am going to convert that value to radians. So this is a formula where whatever the degree user had entered multiplied by pi by 180. So if I do this logic, automatically the degree will be converted into radian, and I'm saving that radian in one container. That container name is x, or the variable name is x. So next, so the initial values are the prerequisites to carry on my program is I want to declare whatever my numerator is. I want to declare denominator. I want to declare I. So why numerator is required? So anyway, my formula consists of numerator and denominator. So numerator is for upper layer, upper part. Denominator will be that lower. And what is that I is I value? So I stands for exponential level, where x to the power of 1, x to the power of 2. So that exponent number I am taking as I. So after that, it goes with a formula to perform Taylor series that we'll see in my program. After performing, I'm using some kind of loop. So in my program, I'm using do while loop. The speciality of do while loop is whatever the condition it may be, so it executes one time. So after executing for one time, so it will check with condition. That is what while do. If it is true, if condition is true, again it goes to do, it carry on the second iteration, and again it will check the value with respect to while. Again, if it is true, the value will be again moved to the loop. So until this condition fails, it will be keep on continuing. So here I'm using a smallest number in order to compare, that is a 0.000001. Very smallest number I am taking in order to compare. And I am using a function called fabs. The meaning of fabs is absolute number. So we are going to compare with absolute number. So with the smallest number, if it is true, again it goes to the loop until the condition fails. Until the condition fails, it will be keep on continuing. Once the condition fails, it automatically comes out of the program and it writes the value which is there in sum as the resultant value. We'll see how exactly this will happen in my program. So we'll directly move to the program. So anyway, my program starts with hash include stdio.h. So this is a library, header file where hash is a preprocessor directive. Stdio.h is nothing but standard input output header file. Again, I'm including one more header file, that is with respect to math. Why I am doing math.h header file? Why? Because I'm using something called pi in my program. I'm converting degrees to radians in my program, and I'm using one built-in function in my program in order to compare the result values with my Taylor series program or a Taylor series procedure. So for all this, I'm using a mathematical header. So with the name called math.h, I'm using in my header part itself. That is hash include math.h. And as I said, I'm defining pi value in my header section itself. So with the help of hash define pi, the value of pi is constant throughout the program and the value is 3.142. So after header section, so my program starts with main. So I'm giving int main. The speciality of int is something I want to return back to my operating system. So if I'm using int, I want to use some kind of return statement after completing my program. So that we will see in ongoing slides. So it starts from main. I'm creating a empty variables here. So that is I want, degree I want. So the empty spaces are going to create with respect to the size of int. So I want, and then degree, and then in the form of float, I want x. Sum is initialized to 0. Anywhere rather than to store a garbage value, I'm going to define sum is equal to 0. And term, I'm going to use numerator, denominator. So this is all the initial values in order to carry out my program. After that, I'm going to use one printf statement. The speciality of printf statement is whatever the message is there in the double quotes, the same message will be displayed on your output screen. That is, enter the value of degree. After displaying this message, automatically user will start entering the value with respect to degree. So I'm using one more function, that is scanf, which reads the input from standard input device, that is your keyboard. So I'm going to enter degree. So degree is initialized with the help of int. So my format specifier is %d. I'm reading only one value, and ampersand of where I'm going to store that value, degree. So now my degree is updated to 60. After giving input to the program, my next step is I want to convert degree into radian, because my program carry out the form of radians rather than degree. So for that, I have a formula. So x is equal to degree into pi by 180. So here you can see the values. So user had entered 60. I'm taking the example as 60 degree. So 60 into pi value I have defined in my program, that is a constant value 3.142 divided by 180. After doing this, we'll get answer, that is 1.047333. So this number will be stored in the place where x is located. Now the value of x is updated. So next, so in my formula, sine of x is equal to, first I'll get x. So for that, numerator is x only, x to the power of 1, it remains constant. So that's why I'm initializing my numerator is equal to x. Whatever the value which is there in x, that will remain constant for my first value with respect to formula, that is plus x. So x, again the value is 1.047333 is assigned as numerator. And for that, denominator is 1 factorial. So the meaning of 1 factorial is 1. So I'm initializing denominator as 1. So again, next what I want exponential concept, where it has to be incremented twice. I mean, plus 2 should be happen for every iteration. So for that, I'm initializing I is equal to 2. So by this, we got a value of my first level, that is plus x. In my program, I have sine of x is equal to, so x by 1 factorial minus x to the power of 3 by 3 factorial and so on. For that first x by 1 factorial, I got the result now. So my x value is 1.047333 divided by 1 factorial, nothing but 1. So the meaning here is x value is 1.047333. Next I want to get minus with respect to x to the power of 3. That is how my formula is. So we'll see the formula. So I'm using do while loop. As I said, first I'll do the iteration. I'll compare this result with a very smallest number, that is 0.00001. If result is false, I'll come out of the loop. If result is true, again I'll go to the do, and I'll continue the iterations until the condition fails. So we'll see the first pass now. So do while loop. We'll see first pass. As I said, term is equal to numerator by denominator. So here we are going to take a variable called term, where term is equal to numerator by denominator. So numerator is initialized as x, what I shown in my previous slide. So where x to the power of 3 should come here. So first I'll assign numerator by denominator. My numerator value is 1.047333. divided by denominator. Denominator is initialized to 1. Whatever the value which you are going to divide by 1, same value will retain and the term will be updated to 1.047333. So next I have a formula. Numerator is equal to minus numerator into x into x. Here you have to concentrate very carefully with sign. So here I'm using minus numerator into x. Why I'm using minus? Because my program or my mathematical function or a standard mathematical function says with respect to Taylor series is first it starts with plus, next it goes with minus, again plus, minus, and so on. So alternate signs should come for every iteration. So for that I'm using minus numerator into x. So here we'll see the flow. So numerator is equal to, what is the numerator value? Well, been associated with minus, that is minus 1.047333 into x into x. What is my x value? 1.047333 into 1.047333. So this statement had achieved x to the power of 3. So 3 times I'm going to multiply the value which is there with respect to x. That is with minus value. That is what the second level of my formula, that is minus x to the power of 3 by 3 factorial. So this part is only with respect to numerator. Now my denominator is 3 factorial. So we'll see that denominator is equal to, I'm initialized denominator as 1 into, what is I value? Again I value is initialized to 2 into 2 plus 1. So here the meaning here is 3 into 2 into 1. So the result what we get from this is 6. 6 is nothing but 3 factorial. So by this we have achieved x to the power of 3 by 3 factorial, that is with respect to minus. So next I'm going to add sum is equal to sum plus term. I'm taking one variable called sum where I'll store the value. So finally the value which is there in sum will be displayed once the condition is going to fail. So here sum is equal to sum plus term is the formula. So initially sum is equal to 0 plus, what is the value of term? The latest value of term is 1.047333. Whatever the value will be added with 0, the same value will get. So that is 1.047333 will be stored in the position where sum is pointing. After that, we have one more function, that is I is equal to I plus 2. So I is initialized to 2 plus 2. Next I value is 4. Now I value is incremented to 4 now. Next we have condition. So anyway I'm using do while loop. First it will do one iteration, then it will go to the condition. So here I'm using a function called fabs, that is a floating absolute value. F stands for floating, ABS stands for absolute value, where I'm taking the value with respect to term and comparing with very smallest number. So that is fabs of 1.047333 greater than or equal to very smallest number, that is 0.00001. So if it is true, again it goes back to the do loop. If it is false, it will come out of the program. So as of now, 1.047333 is greater than my smallest number. So it is true. What I want to do, again I want to go for a second pass. So in my second pass, so whatever the result you got in pass 1 will be input for my pass 2. So here again the same formula, term is equal to numerator by denominator, and the latest value of my numerator is minus 1.148827. You have to concentrate on minus also, means sign also. So in my pass 2, the numerator value is minus 1.148827 divided by denominator. So denominator is 6. If we do this, the value which we get is minus 0.191471. So this value will be updated to term. Instead of minus 1.148827, minus 0.191471 will be updated in the place of term. So next numerator is equal to, the formula which we have is minus numerator into x. So anyway I'm using first minus at the outside, and the numerator value itself it has a minus, so I'm using in separate bracket, that is minus 1.148827 multiplied by x into x. So here the value of minus 1.148827 is nothing but x to the power of 3. So that is what we get in previous slide. So x to the power of 3, again 2 times of x. This gives a result which is equal to x to the power of 5. So my next numerator is plus x to the power of 5 divided by 5 factorial. This is what my formula is. So for that minus into minus, it will become plus. X to the power of 3 value is 1.148827 multiplied by 2 times of x. So finally we'll get x to the power of 5 value. So here the value is 1.260157. So this value is with respect to x to the power of 5. So if my exponential value is 5, my denominator value is also like 5 factorial. So in order to do that, we have a formula that is denominator into I plus 1. The latest value of denominator is 6. 6 into I is been updated to 4 into 4 plus 1. So here the meaning here is 6 is nothing but 3 factorial into 4 into 5. So that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So the meaning of 6 is 3 into 2 into 1. That is what 3 factorial. Again 4 into 4 plus 1 is nothing but 120. So finally we'll get a 5 factorial. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is how the denominator goes. So here the denominator value is 120. That is what 5 factorial. So next we have sum is equal to sum plus term. So the last value of sum is 1.04733 plus, and the latest value of term is minus 0.191471. So by this we'll get answer 0.855862. So this value will be updated to the place where sum is pointing. Next I will be incremented to 2. So as of now my I value is 4 plus 2 will get 6. So this is what one more iteration. After doing iteration, I want to check with condition. That is what my while do. So while fabs of term. So what is my new value of term? So that is minus 0.191471, but I'm comparing with a positive value. That is what my fab does. It converts to an absolute value, floating absolute value, where it takes only the number that is 0.191471 is greater than or equal to the very smallest number I'm going to check. So if it is true, again I am doing the iterations. If it is false, I'm coming out of the program or I'm out of the loop. So as of now, my condition is true. If condition is true, again I want to go with one more pass. So whatever the values I got with respect to term, numerator, denominator, sum, I, all these values will be input for my pass 3. So we'll see the pass 3 now. So term is equal to numerator by denominator again. So the value of term is updated with the help of by using a formula numerator by denominator. Here the numerator value is 1.260157 divided by 120. We'll get a new value that is 0.010501. So this value will be updated for the value for the place of term. Next, numerator is equal to minus numerator into x. That is what my formula. So minus numerator value 1.260157 into x. So now my x is updated to x to the power of 7. So this 1.260157 is nothing but x to the power of 5. Again I am multiplying 2 times of x for that value. So now the value is equal to x to the power of 7. So here again it adds minus. So that is minus 1.382275, because my formula also goes with alternative sign. So after going with numerator, I want to go with the denominator, but in numerator the exponential value is 7. Even my denominator is also goes with 7 factorial. So here the meaning of 7 factorial, how we will get 7 factorial is denominator into I plus 1. So the denominator value is 120. So this is 5 factorial. Again I value, that is 6. Again 6 plus 1. 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Finally we'll get 5040. So next again sum will be updated. So sum is equal to sum plus term. So the last value of sum is 0.855862 plus the new value of term is 0.010501. So we'll get a value 0.866363. Again I will be incremented. So the last value of I is 6. Now I am incrementing it with plus 2. So the value will be updated to 8. Again I'll go check with condition. So my condition says fabs of term. It's an absolute, floating absolute. I'm taking the value which is there with respect to term, and I'm comparing with the smallest, very smallest number. So this time my term value is 0.010501, which is greater than or equal to 0.00001. So I will check whether it is true or false. So at this time it is true. If it is true, again I want to perform one more pass. Until it becomes fail, I want to keep doing the iterations. See, whatever the value we got in this pass 3, the term value, numerator value, denominator value, sum value, and I value, these are all the input for my next pass. So we'll see pass 4. So in my pass 4, term is equal to numerator by denominator. So the value of numerator is minus 1.382275 divided by denominator is 5040. By doing this, we'll get minus 0.000274. Next, we'll go with numerator. So the numerator is minus of the numerator. So here already minus is there with formula. Again, my numerator values also consist of minus. So I'm using in bracket, that is minus 1.382275 multiplied by x into x. So here minus into minus will become plus, and complete thing will be multiplied, and we'll get a value 1.516228. So next we'll go with the denominator. So denominator, again it's a 9 factorial, because x to the power of 9 will be there at numerator. So same thing will be the denominator also. Whatever the value which is there in exponential level, the same number will be the factorial at denominator level. So here 5040 into 8 into 8 plus 1. So 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 into 8 into 5040 is 7 factorial. 7 factorial is nothing but 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So finally we are doing 9 factorial here. So the value of 9 factorial is 362,880. So next, sum is equal to sum plus term. The last value of sum is 0.866363 plus, and the latest value of sum is minus 0.000274. So by doing this, what we'll get is 0.866089. So next I will be incremented to 2, that is I plus 2. The last value of I is 8. 8 plus 2 will get 10. Again I have a condition to check. So fabs of term is greater than or equal to very smallest number. Yes, again 0.000274 is greater than 0.4 zeros with 1 is true. Condition is true. If condition is true, again I want to go with one more pass until the condition is fails. For my next pass, the updated value of term, numerator, denominator, sum. So whatever the value you got in pass 4, this value will be input for my pass 5. So means next pass. We'll see next pass now. Term is equal to numerator by denominator. So term is equal to the latest value of numerator is 1.516228 divided by denominator, that is 362,880. We'll get a value 0.00004178. Term will be updated to the new value now. So next we'll go with numerator. Numerator is equal to minus numerator into x into x. The value of numerator is 1.516228 into x into x. So by this we'll get minus 1.663161. So now we have to go with denominator. So now denominator goes with 11 factorial, because now we are dealing with x to the power of 11 by 11 factorial. So here 11 factorial is nothing but 399,16800. So 362,880 is 9 factorial into 10 into 11. That is what 10 into 10 plus 1. So we'll get 11 factorial. Next, sum is equal to sum plus term. Sum is equal to the last value of sum is 0.866089 plus, and the latest value of term is 0.50 along with 4178. So finally the sum is updated to 0.866093. Next, again I is also incremented. I is equal to I plus 2. The value of I is 10. Again I'm incrementing it by plus 2. So 10 plus 2, it will be 12. So next again I'm going to check with my condition. See, now my condition is like fabs of term. So term, the value is 0.12345 zeros 4178. Here my smallest value after my point, I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits only, 4 digits with respect to 0 and 1. So if I compare this, automatically it is less, because after point, even for 5 digits there is a 0. So now my condition is going to fail. once condition fails, automatically it comes off the loop. It comes out of the do while loop. Once it comes out of the loop, I want to print the result. That is what my last step in my program. So in order to print my result, I'm using a printf statement with message, that is the sign of whatever the degree a user had entered is percentage f. So the value which is there in sum will be my resultant value. So I'm fetching the value which is there in sum in my printf statement by using a format specifier as percentage f, because it is a floating point number. So this is the result whatever we got now. So this is with respect to my Taylor series approximation formula. So this one we have to compare with built-in function. This is how the part 2 question says. Whatever the answer you will get, you have to compare with built-in library function. If your result is same, then your program is right. If is there any small change, again you have to cross-check the procedure of Taylor series approximation. So in order to get a built-in function value, I'm using one more printf statement with a message. The sign function of percentage d, whatever we entered, is percentage of using a library function, that is sign of x. So here the library function is sign of x. So even my degree is 60, even sign of 60 is also 0.866093. So by this, I can say my procedure of computing sign of x using Taylor series approximation is also correct. Even built-in function is also giving a same answer. It means that my program is satisfying both the conditions. So it has been calculating manual procedural format, even my built-in library function also. So next, so we'll see program. Here I'm using online compiler to compile the program. Anyway, this is C program. I'm using C compiler, online C compiler to run the program. The same program written here. It starts with a header file, that is hash include studio.h, math.h, and I'm defining pi value also. And I starting with main. I'm declaring I a degree, x sum is equal to 0 term, and so on. I'm reading a degree. I'm converting the degree to radian. Again, I'm initializing numerator value with respect to x, denominator is to 1, and I is equal to 2. After that, I'm performing a looping condition, that is do while loop. So where formula is there to find my Taylor series approximation method using sin x. So same formula I've written. Finally, I'm using two printf statement. One printf statement is to print the result which is there in my Taylor series approximation formula, and one more printf statement is used to print a built-in library function result. So we'll compile the program and we'll see the result of the program. So I'm going to compile now. So this is how my compiler screen comes. So it asks a message, enter the value of degree. So as my example is for 60 degree, I'll take 60 degree as an example. If I press enter, I'll get two values. That is a sign of 60 is 0.866093. That is with respect to first printf statement. So next printf statement, the sign function of 60 is 0.860093. So this value is with from built-in function. So that is what two printf statements are there. So it's printing twice. So if I want to print in the next line, so a small change I'm going to do. So just I'm adding /n in my first printf statement, where it prints two printf statements in two different lines. I'm going to compile a same program again. So I'm giving same input again. So now you can see the result will be printing in two lines. First line is with respect to first printf statement, and second line is with respect to a built-in library function I'm using with a function called sign of x. So this is all about your Taylor series approximation program. Thank you.